afternoon, everyone. This is Iraj with OSHA VPP program. Welcome to our Ergo webinar presented by Cintas today. And I was going to tell you why we're doing this. We've been doing reevaluation, let's say last 18 months before COVID and during COVID. And during this reevaluations, actually, these are existing VPP sites. We find out Ergo, it is a major challenge for them to make sure they manage their ergonomic program and think the way we want it or they want it. And we find out Cintas facilities, the way they have implemented their program, which is very creative and simple, and you're going to hear it from them, is bringing good result to them. For your information, 4 of Cintas locations, that's Stockton, Pittsburgh, Ontario, and Gilroy. They are in our California VPP STAR program. So without any further ado, I want to turn it over to Christine and Devana for a self-introduction before we start the session. But last thing, not the least, I want to appreciate my colleague, David G. Is a consultation senior engineer, and he's been very, very instrumental in helping all entire Zoom events by division. And this is one of them. So with that, Christine, it's your show.
Thank you so much, Iraj. I really, again, appreciate everyone for joining. What we're going to go over is participatory ergonomics, simplifying complex concepts for use by the front line. With Devana and myself, I would say that for my part in ergonomics for Cintas, I've been with Cintas now for almost 5 years, starting at one location and then moving up to corporate safety. And knowing what it takes for the involvement of our frontline partners in ergonomics is very key. And me being now on a regional role, being a part of corporate safety, it's very important to make it simple, not only for our frontline partners to completely understand it, but also important for our managers and leaders who have to take on that responsibility as well, making it very simple for them. Now with Devana, she's the one that I look up to when it comes to ergonomics because she's key. She's corporate ergonomist. So Devana, go ahead with your introduction.
All right. Well, thank you, Christine. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Devana Pilzik. I have been at Cintas for almost 4 years now. I actually started my career in the aviation manufacturing area. I'm down in Savannah, Georgia. I'm not on East Coast time here. But I joined Cintas in 2018, and my role really is to manage the whole program for the entire corporation. So if you've ever seen Cintas, we drive those white trucks, it says Cintas, and we're known as a uniform rental company primarily. But we do have other divisions. We've got a fire division. So if you go to restaurants and things, you'll see the sprinkler systems and fire extinguishers. We service those. And we also have a first aid and service division where we do anything from like the little AED boxes and first aid kits that you see at stores and airports. So we do a whole host of things. And so my job is to kind of create the strategy, education, and execution for the program at large. So we've got over 40,000 employees that we refer to as partners. So my job is to kind of look at the big stuff up high, but then I work with individuals on our safety team like Christine, who are actually out in the trenches doing the work at the individual location level to see, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And so she's going to present to you today, actually, how she's got her locations out in California running with Ergo. And she's one of our star partners on our team. So I'm glad to be here with her.
Thank you, Devana. What we're going to do now is kind of take it over to how we try to make it very simple, not only for our frontline partners, but also management, because again, when it comes to that communication, simplicity is key. So looking at this, we've made it into 4 T's, which is train, team, track, and thanks. When we think about training, we want to make sure any type of training, we want to make it simple, make it memorable, have that buildup of a team. Do you know the correct and right partners that can drive the excitement, drive the engagement to say, you know what? Ergonomics is so much fun, and it's easier than you think. When people think of the word ergonomics, that's a really big word. I don't even know how to start off with that. But when you can train them to show how simple it is, you're going to be able to get a team right off the bat. When you have that team, you want to know, how can I track all of these solutions? Am I making a difference with my frontline partners and for the business? Keeping track of all of that will make sure, you know what, do we have to go back to the drawing board? Do we have to give additional training, get more people involved in the team? Once you have all that, the biggest thing is you got to give thanks to all those partners that were involved. Have a celebration when it comes to that. And I think with all of you guys being in Cal VPP, doing all that hard work, the training, having a team tracking everything and giving thanks for all of that, you guys know how to do that for Cal VPP. And this is the same exact thing. Think about it in simplicity with the 4 T's. Now, when it comes to training, you'll see here that the 4 T's up here on the right-hand corner, you'll see what these slides will involve. You'll either see train, team, thanks, or track. Here we want to simplify those complex concepts. And again, you guys know when it comes to ergonomics, it can be pretty complex. Let's take it down a notch and see how can we simplify that. First of all, we want to make it fun. We want to make it interesting for our partners. We want to make sure, you know, when we can make it fun and make it memorable for them, they'll be able to participate and say, hey, you know what, I want to be on that ergonomics team. When you think about that, have those visuals, have pictures, you know, have items out there where it can test them and say, you know what, we can do body mechanics here. Let's show you right off the bat. And here we want to have demonstrations. When you think about all the times that you've been in any type of training, think of the most memorable moments you've had with that training. What made it interesting for you? You were able to have, you know, an exciting presenter. You were able to do all these demonstrations, and a lot of partners or a lot of employees, they're very hands-on when they learn. We want to be able to interpret for them so that it's a memorable moment. So when they come back and see you, oh, you know what? They taught me ergonomics. I remember how to do this, and I'm going to continue on with that. With one of those concepts, Devana is going to go over how we explained the power zone, and we call it Ergo 101.
Thank you, Christine. So remember what she just mentioned. And oftentimes we train people, we throw the whole book at them. And let's be honest, you've sat through training and maybe you remember what, 10% of it when you leave. So if you can make things very simple, catchy, and utilize people's senses, so if they can touch it, feel it, hear it, participate in it, they will remember it more. And so we're going to show you in a minute one of the ways that we teach the power zone, which is kind of that zone, that sweet spot from the shoulders to the middle of the thigh that you want people to work in. I'm going to show it to you in a few slides from now, but we are actually teaching them a simple way of how do you bring things back into your power zone. So we basically made it catchy and said, can you bring it up? Can you bring it down? Or can you bring it in? Pick one of those 3 things. And so here's a little takeaway for today. You can only get back into your power zone 3 ways. You can either adjust the work, which is the thing that your hands touch. So you can adjust that up, down, or bring it in. The worker, which is the human, can you make them go up, down, or, you know, inside, or, you know, go back? And then finally, the workstation, which in this photo, it would be that rail system that's holding the garments on there. That's our world. But can you move the workstation up, down? Can you alter it? That's it. Those are your 3 ways. So that's your ergo tip for today. Can you bring it up, bring it down, or bring it in? Next slide.
Now,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Now with this, no, don't worry about it. Now for this, with the power zone, just looking at it, we want to make them with pretty colors too, very simplified when it comes to how can it make it easier for our frontline partners to know what's good. And everyone knows the colors of green, yellow, and red. With green, yes, that's a good thing. You know, it's a go. Yellow, we have to be mindful. We have to yield to that. Take caution. And red, you know what, we need to stay out of that zone. And we wanted to get these colors, these color schemes very simplified and short and simple. Stay in the green, get it off the floor. hands below head, bring it in. And again, we want to keep it simple. And throughout the years, we try and give them little bite-sized pieces of what that power zone is, and then slowly incorporate it and have it very simple. Another way that we've been able to do that are the visualization of the power zone. As you can see here, we took the concept of the color scheme with the green, yellow, and the red. Now you'll see here, we started off with these poles to show where the power zone can be for our different size partners. And we incorporated that into the different workstations, letting people know, hey, you know, if you extend out this far, you're in the red. If you extend up and over, it's going to be in the red. Having that visual for our partners at their workstations will really help them realize, oh, you know what? I didn't realize I was in the yellow. Let me go ahead and bring it back in to make it simple. Devana is going to go over of a second way that we've been able to improve to how to visualize that power zone. And I think it's very important when we look at a concept, we always have to have that continuous improvement when it comes to a concept and bringing it out to our frontline partners.
So when I came to Cintas, I fell in love with that stick where you can see basically where is your tall person, where does their shoulder fall, where does the shorter person, where do their fingers fall, and there's a sweet spot in there. But every one of us is different. And so we've got that power zone that actually changes based on your height. And so here is a great way to teach the power zone lesson. And I've been teaching this for easily over 10 years now to thousands of people. All you have to do is get a roll of masking tape or painter's tape. Don't use duct tape. I've seen that done and it's not pretty. So you put masking tape with people's hair, you put it across the shoulder, across the middle of their thigh, and basically that's where your knuckles hang when your arms are down by your sides, and down the center of the body. And that is your power zone. So that's really where you want your hands to be working. You want your arms in that zone, your elbows and your hands in that zone. So when we break that plane and go above the shoulder, like you see the guy in the middle, he's out of his power zone. Or if you've got to bend below the middle of the thigh and go down to the floor, you're out of your power zone. And the middle line is you want to bring your hands in closer to the center line of the power zone. And so we do this every time when we train. And like I said, people don't remember everything you teach them. So make sure those key things you want them to walk away with is very memorable. And so they remember putting the tape on, they laugh, they look silly, they have to peel it off. It's all very sensory, but they remember that power zone lesson. And that's really one of the hallmarks of our training program, is that simple little power zone.
And Devana, I wanted to highlight before we move on to the next slide, this shoulder to thigh makes a capital I, and making something very catchy for your frontline employees to remember. You know, they'll remember, oh yeah, I remember that shoulder to the thigh makes a capital I. I remember this person totally ripped off that tape and they kind of snagged their hair a little bit. They remember those moments and know, I remember that power zone. And just to think about it, we have partners of all different languages, and we even teach this in all different countries. We have locations in Mexico and Honduras. And so we go through this same training with them, and we want to make it very simple for everyone to understand where the power zone is. And then she's going to go over the concept of Ergonomics 102.
And so we thought that was a really good training. People really liked after we did basically the power zone lesson with the masking tape. And that helps you identify. You identify a problem, which is step one in any problem. You got to be able to, oh, that's the problem. You got to be able to identify it. But now if you have identified it, you got to fix it, right? And so my whole career, I've always had people ask me, well, how do you know how to fix stuff? And honestly, this is how. I don't really know. There's no special trick other than I go through my checklist of, can I put handles on things? Can I put wheels on something to make it easier? Can I lighten the load so it's not so heavy? Can I raise it up into the power zone? Can I bring people's arms in and reduce the reach? Can I spin it or rotate it? Can I light it up so you can see it better? Can I tilt it? Can I slide it? Or can I make it bend? And so we actually came up with a training that is those, it's 10 concepts. We actually made a little pocket guide. So when you go out on the floor, you can open up your little pocket guide and it tells you, oh, here's your power zone. And by the way, in case you forgot, here's the 10 ways to tweak these things. And so our teams go out on the shop floor, they walk around and they get out their little, pocket guide, and they can actually figure out, can we spin it? Can we rotate it? Can we tilt it? Can we bring it in? And now you have all of these individuals learning how to solve problems, because our department, we have, like I said, 40,000 plus employees. And although we do have several Christines across the company, we only have 2 ergonomists. And so it's not a great ratio to solve problems quickly when you only have 2 to 40,000. So if you can arm your people with very simple concepts to solve problems, you will start to get a lot of that low-hanging fruit caught and easily solved.
And as we shift gears, when it comes to that training, again, making it simple is key. We want to, again, make it simple, not only for our partners to be able to say, hey, supervisor, hey, manager, there's something going on here with my workstation. I believe that we can probably raise up my workstation. Having that open dialogue and conversation, making it not only simple for our frontline partners, but also for our managers to relay that concept to a maintenance person, to myself, to Devana. We will then be able to go into that and say, all right, we know some key partners or players in different areas. Let's go ahead and bring them in. We know our resources. The next slide I'm going to show you is one of the locations here that we have in California. It's the Cintas Fresno location, where they, after these trainings of Ergo 101 and Ergo 102, the leaders just took it upon themselves and they just went with it. I'm going to go ahead and show you this video. Hopefully you guys have your volume on, and we're going to go ahead and kick it off.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Andrew Remlinger. I'm the General Manager in Location 621, and I'm with my Plant Manager, Brian Delbeck.
Good afternoon.
And we're going to present to you Ergo in the Field. Okay, partners, so we're starting with our Ergo team and really who we are as a location and how we handle Ergo in the field. So it starts with our safety vision. We all know it. We all love it. But really, the focus in our Ergo solutions is part 2 of the vision. What I have to say is the vision is real, and we're on to something. So part 2 is every partner is engaged in continuously improving safety. So for our team, everyone is on our Ergo team. Our frontline partners, our location leaders, our regional leaders, our safety leaders, and our executives with guidance and direction. We see our Ergo team as one large pool, all helping move to one goal. So our Ergo philosophy, partners, is about partner participation first. We have to, as a leadership team, engage our partners about their daily work. What we find is when you're making normal conversation with your partners, you'll find safety and movement opportunities. So if you just continue to engage, make safety and movement part of that conversation as you're engaging, right? As we all know at Cintas, we have an open door policy. And that policy includes making recommendations about improvements in both ergonomics and I think efficiency, which has really helped our location move towards an Ergo solution. So the next thing in the last bullet is listen to your partners and really be prepared to act. If there's an opportunity to improve ergonomics, be ready and have your leadership team ready to take action. As we continue our Ergo philosophy, leadership response is that next big step. When partners give you feedback, leadership has to take action, right? You have to solve the issue with that competitive urgency that you would normally have with everything we do at Cintas. But you have to have focus on safety and ergonomics when you take action, right? Ask the question, does the solution that we're putting in place have an ergonomics or safety factor that is involved or could be involved, right? And then the next step and final step really is to record and report your solutions. If you did something great at your location, send that up the chain. Let other locations and other partners really receive the rewards of the benefits of what you were able to solve at your location. Next, I'll go through some of the challenges and some of the solutions we found when overcoming Ergo challenges. A lot of times we think ergonomics and we think complicated. We think hard to do. We think extra burden. And the truth is, that's just not the case. The first challenge is partner turnover. There's always this fear that if you only have solutions that are in the mind of a particular partner, you're not going to have it sustained. And that's the truth. Sustainable systems-based solutions are the key. When you put an ergonomic solution in, make sure it's long-lasting. Next is tight on resources. GMs like myself always worry about spending money, right? Well, the truth is there's a lot of low investment opportunities for ergonomics to create some really big returns. The next one is competing priorities. You know, partners, we all deal with competing priorities every single day, but ergo equals efficiency, and efficiency equals profit. Finally is making time for ergo. You know, to be honest, if you integrate ergonomics into your daily communication that we spoke about earlier as part of your philosophy, it really doesn't take any extra time at all. You're already solving the problem. You're just solving it in a way that increases efficiency, supports profit, and ultimately makes our partners safer through ergonomic solutions.
I get the pleasure of introducing you to 3 partners at location 621 that probably have had the most significant impact on our ergonomics over the past year. The first partner I'm going to introduce you to is Ryan King. Ryan King is a maintenance partner on my second shift. I had a problem with my trenches in my drive-through becoming filled up with dust and dirt and debris. I asked him to have them all cleaned out. His solution was to build the grate dolly, which allows him to lift up 65-pound grates solo. He didn't have the resources and partners available on the shift to do it with 2 or 3 people, so he built this dolly to do it solo. The dolly itself has handles and wheels, makes it very maneuverable, and he was able to quickly and efficiently get the project done and avoided all injuries with it as well. Another great partner for us is Joanna Martinez. Joanna is one of my pant hangers on first shift. Joanna is a little bit on the shorter side and was having some difficulty with coveralls. She came up with an innovative solution of taking the coverall and hanging it on a piece of our equipment. She did this to avoid any trip hazards and was able to put out a higher quality product. It raised it off the floor and allowed her to be able to visually see the coverall, looking for any defects and ensuring that we have the highest quality going out to our partners. It was so impactful to her and her hanging quality that we introduced this to all of our hanging stations, and we call it the cami slide. It's adjustable to any of our partners' heights, moving it up and down, and really, really does a great job improving our quality. I'd like to introduce you to my last partner, Anthony Estrada. Anthony Estrada is my team leader on the service support team on second shift. When the COVID crisis first hit us in the spring, we had to get lean and we had to get more efficient. Anthony gave us the idea of reorganizing our drive-through. We took his idea, did some dry erase board work, we worked on it, we reorganized it so that heavy products were moved closer to the front, closer to the trucks. We also moved slower moving products away from the front of the trucks. Did a lot of work, and Anthony led that entire charge. In addition to this, we were able to find some rolling bars that we're able to put into our pallet racking. That allowed us to be able to put heavy use items like soaps and air fresheners on the rolling rack. You take one box off, another box rolls down. Overall, this was a brilliant strategy for us during the COVID crisis. We were able to reduce our labor on second shift, as well as make our truck loading a more efficient and more effective process. Hey, the last part of this for me is just to say, hey, we got some exciting things coming up in the near future here. Ergonomics never stops for us, and I know there's going to be other things that develop for us that are not on this list, but some things we do have planned out right now are a dairy cart material handling review. We're looking at introducing and improving how we take dairy bags out of carts to make it more ergonomic friendly for our partners. Bulk soil cart spring lifts. When we unload trucks, a lot of times we take the dirty bulk and we throw it in the bottom of a cart without any springs in it. And we know that the springs in the bottom of the cart will help us raise that bulk up and get it into the power zone for the partners. We also have the logo mat honeycomb system coming into play. Again, another Ergo solution for storage. The mats will be designed better for us to be able to get them in and out of the system quicker. And then again, like we said earlier, the next big thing from our partners. We're always looking for the ideas from the partners. And when they come to us, we jump on them. Thank you.
Hey partners, Andrew again. So really this slide's about awareness and consistency. When you're making ergonomic solutions, especially ones that are driven by the partner, you want to make sure you kind of show off a little bit. And so in the Northwest group, we have an ergonomic solutions tracker. Every location has one. And each quarter, we select an ergonomics invention or program or process that was highlighted, and we put it up on the board and make sure our partners see it and know it and appreciate it. And it kind of creates that awareness of the 10 Ergo concepts and how we're making those take into action. I won't just add this, and it's on the slide. It's in yellow and bold. If it matters to you, it'll matter to your partners. If you mean it, they'll respond to it. And so really getting that information, communicating with your partners about it, creating that awareness, and being consistent, that's really the key to have a successful field level ergonomics solution. I just want to thank our ergonomics rock stars. You can see here, it's basically our entire location. These partners stay focused, help us produce ergonomic solutions. And those partners, when you tap into the partner power, you'll have that same benefit. So partners, thank you for spending the time with us.
Now, just taking a look at it, I know that that was a long presentation, but they were able to hit on a lot of the parts that Devana and I will continue to talk about when it comes to the proper training, getting the partners involved, making it simple for them to understand their body mechanics, bring it to leadership, and leadership being able to act on it. And whether it be, hey, you have that idea, we have something else that can help you with that idea. It is that response that is definitely key when it comes to just anyone responding to an idea. And we'll go ahead and go on to this next item here. You saw this in their presentation, which was their compelling scoreboard, or how they hold accountability on themselves when it comes to what they've brought forward when it comes to ergonomic solutions. And, if you're a numbers person, you can count the amount of motions you have saved for a certain type of ergonomic solution. And there are other people where they want it to be on a board with wonderful pictures, making it very visual for those frontline partners to understand, hey, you know what? I can think of something like that for my workstation. I can make it happen. Have that scoreboard available so they can see that the input that they're providing to the leaders, these frontline partners, once they take it to you and they can see what they provided made a change, and they see that through these scoreboards, you're going to get more participation, and you're going to get more involvement. And again, make it easy. When it comes to the solutions, we love the recognition and just providing the thanks. We reinforce this motivation, and we show it off. When it comes to all these different solutions that you guys were seeing in these presentations, we put it out there for all divisions to be able to see. So again, I'm just talking about the rental division, which is going to be the industrial laundering, but we have other divisions that do the exact same thing, and we don't section ourselves off. If I have an idea that I can bring forth to my fire division with fire extinguishers, we're going to share that. And it's that openness of resources that all partners and employees can be involved in. We're a whole big group, and we want to make sure that recognition is there. One activity we're going to do right now is when it comes to activities, making it memorable for people is key when it comes to teaching ergonomics. So here it says, get your pen or pencil ready. So I have my pen here. Devana has her pencil. So we're going to give you a little demonstration of how we can make it a little simple. So when we think about ergonomics, we think of neutral postures, neutral position. So we're going to go ahead and do the wrist. So if you guys have your pen and pencil, go ahead and get your pen or pencil, wrap your hand around it, and make sure that your wrist is in a neutral position. So when you do that and it's in a neutral position, try and pull out your pen or pencil. For me, it's a little difficult to be able to do. Now, when you show partners, all right, once you bend your wrist, that's not in a neutral position, awkward posture, you can see that I was able to easily pull out this pen. So you can show easily to your employees or frontline partners that, hey, you know what? I'm weaker when my wrist is bent. Let's go ahead and make sure that we are in the stronger position for our health as well too. by keeping it in a neutral position. I think small activities like this, where partners are able to feel it, touch it, it makes it memorable for them to know, oh, I remember I'm not strong when my wrist is bent. I'm way stronger when I have my wrist in neutral position. Something like that when it comes to activities will, again, make it very memorable for your frontline employees, and they want to participate more. And you know what? They did a fun activity. I want to go to the next ergonomics meeting and be able to learn more because it's fun. Okay, so taking a look at everything, everyone knows about what we went through over the last year when it comes to the COVID pandemic. And I think everyone knows about hand sanitizers. And for us in the rental division, we had to produce a large amount of sanitizers in a short amount of time. And I think that you can see here, you just imagine, possibly one person might have to build 300 of these stands, and guess what? The order has to go out tomorrow. So thinking about that, just look at this. How can we try and figure out how it can be easier for us to be efficient for not only ourselves, but just thinking about time. And Devonna, did you want to add anything else into that before we move on?
Yeah, so if you've never heard of Cintas, at least you've seen this product. This is every time you walked into the grocery store or wherever this year, you saw one of these stands, and there's a high likelihood that it said Cintas on it. So check again when you go into your store and see if you see Cintas on there. But these stands have to be manually put together. So somebody's actually at one of our locations hand building these things. And that base plate at the bottom that keeps it, from falling over is heavy. And so we had thousands of these that we had to suddenly figure out how to make, how to build, and get them out the door because our customers needed them desperately. So go ahead, Christine, let's show them what we did.
When we have a scenario of building sanitizer stands, we've noticed that there was a problem. And when I say we noticed a problem, it was the frontline partner that noticed the problem when they were building it. And it was that they were trying to build it and it was just too awkward for them. They're trying to put all these pieces together with these base plates and, they have to try and push it in and balance. And they noticed that the process was pretty time consuming. And you'll see here that we're going to focus again to one of my locations, which was the Fresno location in California, because their partner said, this is a little awkward. So they brought it to leadership and they say, there's a problem and I don't really know how to go about it. So the leaders took it upon themselves and say, all right, what can we come up with as a team to make it easier for our frontline partner? So they did it as a group. They talked about it. How can we do something? Can we add handles to it? Can we lighten it? What can we do? Can we raise the work to put it in their power zone? The next video you'll see is how they were able to accomplish this goal. And it's called the Sanitizer Jig.
We all know the problem assembling sanitizer stands puts partners at awkward positions while they're bolting all those pieces together. The process is just time-consuming and labor-intensive. If there was only a better way. Introducing the Sanitizer Stand Jig. From Cintas Fresno, the location that gave you the trench lift and the cami slide, comes the new Sanitizer Stand Jig.
Oh, hey, I'm Mike Medina. Welcome to M2 Labs, where we designed and created the Sanitizer Stand Jig to allow partners to work in their power zone, keep them safe, and reduce assembly time.
While being able to complete the task of building these stands while staying in your power zone, we have eliminated ergonomic risks to the back and shoulders. The jig holds the sanitizer parts in place for easy-to-use assembly.
It's like two partners in one!
By doing so, the quality of our final sanitizer stands is consistently good, and the time it takes to cycle these things through is reduced by 30%.
The jig is up!
The Cintas Sanitizer Stand Jig is ready to help you grow, And now the assembly is hassle-free.
It's an entire safety program in one device.
Let's Ergo get some new customers.
Now, when it comes to all of the ideas that come from our locations, when they tell me something and I think that it's such a great solution, I bring it up to Devana and say, hey, Devana, I think that other locations in our division would be able to use this. What can we do to possibly improve this? How can we bring it out there and put it out there? And I think with the different resources and educational pieces that we can provide to explain the importance of the sanitizer jig, the easy problem solution benefits and product information, we again make it simple for all of our leaders to let them know, hey, we have this sanitizer jig. Our partner, Mike Medina, made it, and we made it his own, which is now called the Medina jig, and that's in our company now. It's the Medina jig. If you want it, we'll go ahead and give you the ordering information. But again, we want to make it simple, make it very visually appealing. So, hey, I want to look at that. And Devana can also add into this, you know, we want to be able to see, do we have a team that can improve on this? And Devana, I know that you have a team, correct, to invent other items.
We do. So we actually have an inventors team, and it's something I highly recommend you do with your place. We look for individuals who are creative, natural, I call them tinkerers, where they like to fix and tweak and, you know, assemble things, and they're constantly thinking of ways to improve whatever it is they come across. And so our inventors are a mix of maintenance folks. Some of them are new to the company. Some of them have long, tenure, but they're individuals that can create and fix things. So we actually meet with them. They come up with ways to solve problems. We show them problems from all different divisions and say, how would you fix this? Like this jig, how would you build it better? And they come up with ideas on how to solve that. And one of the things I wanted to point out too with this video is that one of the problems large companies have is that Christine might see a really great solution at her location, but we have anywhere from 400 to 600 locations across the whole country. So how do you disseminate these great ideas when you're all localized all over the place and you have such a small department to get it out there? And so we made the video that you just saw this past January, and we put it on the homepage. And our effort was, if we can start to learn from, the TV world where you see commercials for 30 seconds or a minute or two selling a product, why don't we start to do that? And so we've actually now showcased some of these solutions, and we packaged them like these, as seen on TV kind of items where it shows you, here's the problem, here's the solution. Order now. And so that's how we've been getting the message out there of these great ideas, because it's very hard to do it when it's just you or Christine or me trying to get the word out to everybody. So it's something I highly recommend. Try doing some videos and get with your marketing department on how to market these great ideas.
And again, just going through everything when it comes to our ergonomics program, it is an ever-changing and it evolves all the time. So, we didn't get this right off the bat. We gradually have been able to update based on the feedback that we've received from not only leaders, but also frontline partners. They tell us, I've never heard of this. We'll make it more available to you. I read it, but I just passed by it. Let's make it more visually appealing for them to be able to look at. So listening to the feedback from everyone to improve on your program is very key. And again, it takes some time to be able to get that participation from everyone at the company. Actionable takeaways. Success is strategic. You have to make sure that you strive for simplicity. Don't make it complicated. We all know that when it comes to ergonomics, again, it can be complicated. You're going to have these, numbers and these factors, and, you want to do all these calculations. Let's take a step back. We can do calculations, on the back end, but first we want to make sure we can get the ideas going. Don't scare them with all those numbers and all those functions and equations. Keep it simple. Use demonstrations to teach those concepts. Then when you have those concepts and you have people that are interested, select the attitude when it comes to assembling those teams. Do you guys have the highly motivated? I have ideas, and they're spitting them out. Get those people in there and start off with those team members. When you know that they can in turn engage the other frontline partners because their excitement and that, they're getting kudos and thanks for their work, you're going to bring in a bigger team and multiple teams from different departments. Track leading indicators to monitor your performance. You don't want to just make a solution and then that's it. You have to make sure that you go back and say, is it not working? Okay, did it just fall through the cracks? Let's figure out why. Let's revisit that, and then we'll try and improve on that. And just go in a big old circle. Make sure that you have your tracking and say, we'll revisit this in the next quarter. We'll revisit this in the next year to make sure you have your answers. And last thing here, celebrate the successes. We love to make a big deal when it comes to celebrations. And again, I mentioned it in the beginning, when you are very successful with something, you want to celebrate it. And for us, we like to put it on poster boards. We like to share it with the whole company. We're very proud of what happens when our partners put feedback in and it's their solution. And I think just think about it this way, again, 4 T's: train, have a good team, track it, and give thanks. A really big thing that I think that you guys can take back and simplify it to make it your own at your businesses and your locations. And that's it from us. I know that Davana and we have our contact information in the initial slide. We'll also have these slides available in PDF form. So we will send that out to you all as well. Now, Iraj, I don't know if you want to have any other feedback. I think we might have some questions.
Sure.
Possibly.
I just want to let you know you did an outstanding job. Train, track, and thanks. Those are really important. And thanks for sharing your program and your successes. And really, I mean, you sort of define a culture. You mentioned about engagement, promotion by line management, senior management, having face-to-face conversation about the importance of ergonomic and rewarding, sharing, and all that. I think that's what makes a big difference if you want to see result. It's not just, I hate to say that, but some sites, they hire ergonomic consultants and they come in, they spend tons of money on it, which is good, but after that, nothing happens. But the way you guys are doing in Cintas, having everyone's engagement, everyone, first of all, identifying we have the problem, in other words, defining a problem. And then next thing was like focusing on grabbing a little bit from your slides, putting the right team, right attitudes together that they can come up with solution. And of course, coaching and training is going to create result. So again, thank you very much for outstanding presentation and sharing your experience. I think if there are questions, we should maybe focus on that.
Yeah, I saw that there was a question. Will this be recorded for the presentation? And yes, it is recorded, and that presentation, recorded presentation, it will go out as well.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add to that, Christine, David G is recording it for us, and we hope to post it at our Cal VPP website under events in near future. So the entire thing is going to be there. Thank you.
Looked like there was only one question.
Yeah, I think that was the only one. No
Great.
questions?
Thank you again. I appreciate your sharing all the good insights you have and successes you did at utilities in Cintas. And I like the simplicity part as, being creative. I think those two are very, very critical. Make it simple so everybody understands what's going on, and then use the creativity.
And we will open up a offer to all of you on the call. So we are very proud of being a world leader in safety. And so one of the things that we believe in is if you're going to be a leader, you have to invite others and to show, how to improve and help each other. And so we have an internal ergonomics competition every year. We didn't last year, but we've invited outside companies to actually participate, to come and learn, to be guest judges, but to see what we do and help each other. And so we actually have, before that event, the day before, we do a symposium where, again, these outside companies get to learn from one another. We do guest speaking. We share some of how we do, like Christine just showed, how we do Ergo, and we learn from each other. So if you would like to benchmark with us, please reach out to Christine or myself, and we are more than happy to bring you in and show you what we do.
Oh, that is wonderful news. As few of my sites, actually our VPP side, they were asking if there is a mentor. So this is great.
Yes.
Do you guys can share your schedule of your upcoming events so we can share it with our VPP side, or you can send it to them?
Yes, so we haven't solidified it yet. We usually do it every August, but with COVID, we didn't do it last year, and we're trying to figure out how to do it virtual this year. So while we work those things out, it's probably going to be around October or November of this year. But if we can still do it virtual, we will still open the doors and invite you.
Great. And last question I have is, so if, let's say a couple of our sites, California VPP site, they're looking for a mentor, you guys can help us out with that?
Absolutely.
Sort of benchmarking, visiting your site, or going to
Yes.
their facilities, attending their meetings and sharing some ideas. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Because I think we're seeing in the climate of today, and I heard the news today say that in April, 4 million people quit their job. So people are moving, and our employees might become your employees. So I think it benefits all of us to help each other with this MSD problem we're all having. So yes, we're happy to mentor.
Great. And that's what VPP is, really working together, sharing best practices.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if our technical assistant, David G, has any comments.
No, I don't have any comments. Fantastic job, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you guys' hard work and a fabulous presentation. And that's it. Nice job.
Thanks for helping us with it too, and getting everyone in there. So we wouldn't be able to do this without your technical support. So really appreciate it.
No problem. We look forward to doing this again with everybody again. So.
Thank you everyone for joining as well too. You have our contact information, and everyone have a wonderful day.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.